Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into your own house, your own living room, your own bedroom, and instead of feeling peace, you felt heavy? Attempt, like something in the air just didn't sit right. You can't put your finger on it, but you know deep down it ain't normal. That's not just your imagination talking, that's your spirit warning you. See, witches and negative people don't always come into your life loud. They come in quiet. They don't always show up with chaos. Sometimes they slip it into your home disguised as something ordinary. A little doll, a pretty trinket, a mirror, a coin, a piece of jewelry, things you think are harmless. But I'm telling you right now, some of the very objects sitting in your house might not be decoration at all. They might be destruction in disguise. And if you don't wake up, if you don't start paying attention, those objects will drain your spirit, steal your joy, and block your blessings without you even realizing it. That's why today we're going to talk about the 7 objects witches place in your home to destroy you, and why you need to remove them now before they remove you. All right. Let's break down keynote. You walk into your living room and you see that little figurine on the shelf, that necklace sitting in the corner. Attempt. Or that odd piece of decor somebody gave you years ago. You don't even think twice about it because to you it's just decoration. But here's what I'm telling you right now. Ain't nothing in your house just decoration. Everything in that space either carries life into your home or it takes it away. Energy attaches to things, intentions get planted inside objects, and sometimes people put things in your house not because they love you, but because they want to bind you, block you, or break you down. See, the trick of the enemy is to make it look harmless, to make you believe that little object is just sitting there collecting dust, when in reality, it might be collecting your peace, your health, and your blessings. Witches, manipulators, negative people, they understand something most of us ignore. Your environment is spiritual. The things around you aren't neutral. That mirror in the corner, that picture frame you didn't buy, but someone slipped to you, that coin you found on the floor and kept without question. They can all carry energy. You think you're just keeping a keepsake, but you might actually be keeping a curse. The moment you accept it, the moment you put it in your home, you gave it permission to sit in your sacred space. And once it's in, it don't just sit quiet. It starts to work. Maybe you start feeling heavy all the time. Maybe every time you walk past it, you feel uneasy, but you can't explain why. Maybe your family starts fighting more. Your money starts disappearing. Your sleep gets restless. You blaming life. You blaming stress. You blaming yourself. But the truth is, it might be that so-called decoration that was never meant for you in the first place. See, people got this idea that curses or bad energy got to come with a big ceremony, candles, chants, all that Hollywood stuff. But real life don't work like that. The enemy is subtle. A witch, or even just a person with jealousy in their heart, can hand you a gift, and if you don't discern, you'll let that gift live in your house like it belongs. That's why some of y'all can't figure out why every time you move forward 2 steps, something pulls you 3 steps back. You've been sabotaged, but the sabotage ain't coming from outside. It's already sitting in your house smiling at you while it does its job. Now let me make it real for you. Imagine your house as your spirit's closet. Would you let somebody sneak in and hang up dirty clothes in there? Would you let somebody throw in trash where your clean stuff is supposed to be? No, because you know it would stink up the whole place. Well, that's exactly what happens when you keep decorations that carry dark energy. They might look nice, but spiritually they're filth. And just like a rotten apple spoils the whole basket, one wrong object can spread negativity through your whole home. What you got to understand is this: your home is a reflection of you. If it's full of love, light, and things that build you, you'll feel it every day. But if it's got objects placed there with the intention to harm, you'll feel that too, whether you admit it or not. That's why you can't treat anything in your home like it's just decoration. Everything either serves your spirit or works against it. All right. Now your home ain't just a place where you keep your bed, your clothes, and your TV. Your home is your fortress, your safe zone, the the place where your spirit is supposed to rest and recharge. When you step outside, you deal with the world's noise, negativity, and battles. But when you come home, that's supposed to be where the war ends and your peace begins. That's why protecting your house is bigger than locking the doors at night. Protection is spiritual, not just physical. You can have the strongest locks, the biggest security system, and the toughest guard dog, but if your home is filled with the wrong objects, wrong energies, and wrong vibrations, you already left the front door wide open to the enemy. Think about it. Every castle that was ever built wasn't just about the walls and the bricks. It was about what happened inside. The king knew if the inside of that fortress was compromised, the walls didn't matter anymore. That's how it works with your home. You can keep out burglars and thieves, but if you let spiritual attacks walk right in through objects or people, you've been defeated before the battle even started. Your home is sacred ground. Every corner, every room, every item inside it contributes to your atmosphere. It either builds your spirit up or it tears your spirit down. Some of y'all don't realize why you wake up tired even after 8 hours of sleep. You don't understand why you feel irritated sitting in your own living room. You don't get why the moment you walk in, your energy drops, your motivation fades, and your peace disappears. That ain't just stress. That's a fortress under attack. Something has slipped through the gates. Maybe it was an object somebody gave you. Maybe it was an old piece of clothing carrying the weight of bad memories. Maybe it was a strange little trinket you didn't think much about. But it's there, sitting inside your walls, draining you, and you don't even see it, which is manipulators' attempt. And people who don't want to see you succeed, they know how powerful your home really is. They know if they can disturb your fortress, they can disturb your life. Because let's be real, if you don't have peace in your own home, you can't have peace anywhere else. If your fortress is compromised, you go into the world already weak, already distracted, already off balance. That's why the attack starts there. That's why the devil don't always come knocking loud. Sometimes he comes slipping in quiet through a gift, through a decoration, through something that don't belong in your fortress, but got invited in anyway. Now here's what you gotta see. You can't afford to treat your home casual. You can't let just anything or anybody walk in and set up shop. That's like leaving your castle gates wide open and then acting surprised when the enemy strolls right in. You got to treat your home like what it is, a fortress. That means you watch what comes in. That means you cleanse what doesn't feel right. That means you guard your walls not just with locks, but with prayer, with intention, with authority. Because if your home is solid, if your fortress is strong, the enemy has no chance. Every person needs a place of refuge, and your home is that place. It's where your dreams are born, where your rest is restored, where your vision gets clear. That's why you can't let it be polluted, poisoned, or weakened by things that don't belong. Your home is your fortress, and if you don't protect it spiritually, you'll lose battles before you even step outside. See, most folks got this picture in their head of witches flying on broomsticks, wearing black hats, stirring up cauldrons. Hollywood sold you that lie so you'd laugh at it, so you think it's all fantasy, but real life witches don't need broomsticks. They don't need no smoke and thunder. They use the simplest, most ordinary things. And that's what makes it dangerous, because it looks so normal that you never question it. A witch don't have to sneak into your home with a big ritual. All they got to do is slide something into your life that looks harmless. A doll sitting in the corner. A piece of jewelry that just happened to end up in your hands. A coin right where you'd find it. A feather tucked away where it doesn't belong. Or a mirror that don't never feel right in the room. These objects don't scream evil. They don't look dangerous. That's the trick. They're designed to blend in. So while you think it's just decoration or just coincidence, it's sitting there working against you day after day. You ever notice how certain gifts make you uneasy the moment you bring them in the house? Somebody hands you a necklace and it's pretty, but every time you wear it, something goes wrong. Somebody drops off a piece of art, but after you hang it, your mood shifts and arguments start. That's not random. That's not your imagination. That's spiritual warfare hiding inside ordinary things. A witch doesn't waste time trying to fight you head on. They plant a seed, an object, something small enough for you to accept without thinking, and then it grows into a doorway for negativity to enter. Let me tell you something, the devil is subtle. Evil doesn't always knock on your door shouting, "Here I am." No, it slides in through the ordinary, the simple, the overlooked. You start feeling heavy in your own house, but you can't figure out why. You start losing sleep, your finances dry up, your relationships start breaking down, and you think it's just life being hard. But sometimes it ain't life. Sometimes it's that ordinary little object sitting in the corner with a spirit attached to it that you never discerned. Think of it like this. If somebody wanted to poison you, they wouldn't hand you a cup labeled poison. They'd put it in your favorite drink. They'd make it look harmless, even pleasant. That's exactly how witches operate with objects. They make it look innocent so you'll welcome it, keep it, and never suspect it. That's why you got to stop brushing off your intuition. If you look at something and your spirit don't sit right, trust that. If you touch an object and it feels off, don't explain it away. That ain't paranoia. That's discernment. Now here's the part that should wake you up. Most people got at least one thing in their house right now that doesn't belong there. It could have been given as a gift, a tempt. It could have been something you found and thought was lucky. It could have been left behind by somebody who didn't have good intentions for you. And because it looks ordinary, you let it stay. But that's exactly how the attack works. Ordinary objects carrying extraordinary destruction. You got to train yourself to see beyond the surface. Not every doll is a toy. Not every feather is decoration. Not every mirror is harmless. Not every coin is just change. Some of these things are spiritual traps meant to bind you, meant to drain you, meant to anchor negativity right in the middle of your home. And until you recognize that witches use ordinary objects, you'll keep living with things that were never meant to be in your space in the first place. All right. Now let's dive into keynote. One of the biggest mistakes people make in life is ignoring that little voice inside them. You know what I'm talking about, that gut feeling, that nudge in your spirit, that quiet whisper that tells you something's off. Too many of us override it because we want to be polite, we want to be logical, or we don't want to look crazy. But let me tell you something straight up, tempt. If it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. Period. Your spirit is your built-in alarm system, and when it goes off, you better pay attention. See, energy don't lie. A person can smile in your face, but your spirit will feel the truth. An object can look harmless, but your spirit will sense what's attached to it. You ever walk into a room and instantly feel uncomfortable, even though nobody said a word? That's because your spirit picked up something your eyes couldn't see. You ever shake somebody's hand and immediately feel drained afterward? That's your spirit telling you something ain't right here. And the same thing happens with objects in your home. You can't always explain it, but deep down you know it. The problem is, too many folks talk themselves out of their own discernment. You feel something's off, but then you say, oh, maybe I'm overthinking. You touch something and your body tightens up, but then you say, nah, I'm just being silly. That's exactly how the enemy tricks you. He makes you doubt your own spirit. And the moment you ignore that inner alarm, you give access to things that were never supposed to be in your life. Think about it. When you buy food and it smells spoiled, you don't argue with it. You don't sit there debating whether it's really rotten. You throw it out. But when it comes to spiritual energy, we second guess ourselves. We'll keep an object that makes us uncomfortable because it was a gift. We'll let somebody sit in our house even though their energy feels heavy because we don't want to be rude. We'll keep clothes that remind us of pain because we don't want to let go of the memory. And every time we do that, we're ignoring the alarm system God put inside of us. Let me put it another way. Your spirit is like the smoke detector in your house. When it beeps, it doesn't matter if you see fire or not. You take it seriously because you know it's warning you. If you ignore it, you might get burned. Well, when your spirit tells you something don't feel right, that's your smoke detector going off. Don't sit around waiting for flames to show up before you move. Trust the alarm and act now. Witches and manipulators count on you ignoring your gut. They depend on you brushing it off. They know if they can sneak something in that looks harmless but feels wrong, you'll probably talk yourself out of removing it. That's why they can use ordinary objects and get away with it, because most people don't trust themselves enough to act on their intuition. But when you finally decide to trust your spirit, you'll be unstoppable, because nothing negative can stick around once you start calling it out and removing it. So the next time you walk past something in your house and you feel uneasy, don't ignore it. The next time you accept a gift but your gut twists up, don't keep it. The next time a person leaves something behind and it just don't sit right with you, don't let it stay. Your spirit is never wrong. If it doesn't feel right, it ain't right. That's the truth. And the moment you start living by it, you'll protect yourself from a whole lot of destruction you never saw coming. Perfect. Now let's break down. Let me tell you something right now. There is nothing more valuable in your life than peace. You can have money stacked up in the bank. Attempt. You can drive the nicest car. You can live in the biggest house. But if you don't have peace when you lay your head down at night, you ain't rich, you're broke. Peace is priceless, and too many people trade it away without even realizing it. They keep things, they hold on to people, they tolerate energy in their house that robs them of the very thing that keeps them strong, focused, and healthy. Peace is the fuel for everything else. When you got peace, you can think straight. You can make decisions clearly. You can hear your own thoughts and listen to God's voice without all that extra noise. But the moment your peace is stolen, everything else starts to fall apart. Your body gets tired, your mind gets confused, your spirit gets heavy. And what makes it worse is, most of the time it's not even the big stuff taking your peace. It's small, sneaky things like objects in your house carrying energy that don't belong to you. See, witches and negative people understand something we don't always think about. They know they can't always take your money. They can't always touch your health. They can't always destroy your opportunities. But if they can snatch your peace, they got you. Because once your peace is gone, you'll destroy yourself. You'll stress yourself sick. You'll doubt your own worth. You'll sabotage your own blessings. That's why the attack always starts with your peace. Now picture this. You got a little trinket in your house, a so-called gift, and every time you see it, something in you feels unsettled. You can't explain it, but arguments break out more often. Your sleep ain't restful, your joy feels dim. That object ain't just decoration. It's working overtime to eat away at your peace. And let me ask you this, why would you keep anything in your life that steals your peace? It doesn't matter how pretty it is, how expensive it is, or who gave it to you. If it costs you your peace, it costs too much. The problem is, a lot of us think we're being sentimental or polite by holding on to things. We say, well, it was a gift, I can't throw it away.